Hello, my name is Menar Meebed. I'm Egyptian. I'm a graduate of Cairo University with a BSc in geology, and I hold a master's degree in education from Michigan State University. I have worked in the petroleum industry, in education, and in development. I have raised 2 children and I have 6 grandchildren. After retiring from the American University in Cairo, where I was the director of development for 10 years, I started my own business of solar drying of locally produced food, fruits, vegetables, and herbs. Our journey started in 2009 when I traveled to India to learn about solar drying. I was looking for something that could help me with using the sun's energy, and I found it in Kerala in India. In 2010, we installed the solar dryer and we started experimenting with the family and friends and for them as well. They were our testing grounds. In 2011, things were looking good for us, so we officially launched and started selling at farmers markets. Minis, why? Well, because we produce high quality dried fruits and vegetables for family, friends, and the Egyptian market. We provide training and employment opportunities for underprivileged women in rural areas. We create a sustainable, low carbon footprint, eco-friendly alternative to industrially produced snacks. Our project is an artisanal production where everything is handled by real people. This is a picture of Minnie's team, part of the team, because the others were at market and they weren't with us. They're all women, as you can see, and they're all women from rural area where our project is installed. And you can see the tunnel in the background over there. Why do people need to preserve foods? Since the beginning of time, of recorded time, people have been preserving food to prolong its shelf life using various techniques. So human beings began with sun drying, salt drying, pickling, smoking, air drying. Then we moved on to canning, freezing, microwave drying, heat chamber drying, solar drying, and freeze drying, which is the new fad right now. The choice, why sun or solar? I'll talk a little bit about sun drying here, although I'm sure everybody knows about it, but we just need to put it in focus. Sun drying is a method where the product is laid out uncovered on the ground or on high trays for a number of days. The product is exposed to direct sun rays and to the elements, which leads to losses in nutritional value and quality of the end product. Yet, it is an environmentally friendly process. Slide 9 shows you pictures of sun drying, conventional sun drying in Upper Egypt. These are tomato fields where you can see the tomatoes laid out on white sheets, and the women go between the lines and salt it and lay them out. Here is a step above where they have covered the trays of tomatoes with a mesh. In this slide, you see raised trays. Instead of putting it on the ground directly and having insects and creatures crawling all over it, the raised trays are a better solution than just on the ground. And here is another way of sun drying where they lay out the molokhaya, which is one of the green herbs that is very famous in Egypt. They just lay it out on the sand. So when it dries, it's full of sand and gritty. Solar. In solar drying, the product is placed in a covered tunnel. Hot air blows above and below the product, removing moisture continually. Temperature inside the tunnel does not rise above 72 centigrade, and therefore the nutritional value is retained. At the end, the product, we have a minimal loss of the end product, and of course, it's environmentally friendly. Our choice. We chose the solar dryer that I was taught on in India. It is a combined sun drying method with a twist of German modern technology and energy efficiency. It is called the solar drying tunnel, and it is the first to be installed in Egypt back in 2011. This is an aerial view of our solar drying tunnel on the land where we operate. And you can see the different parts that make up the solar tunnel. On the right, there is a rectangle that is dark. This is the photovoltaic cell. Then to the left of it is an area that is really black, but it looks like it's gray here. That is the collector where the hot air is collected. And on the left is the drying part of the tunnel. There are fans underneath the photovoltaic cell that move the hot air over onto the drier part of the tunnel. The women are working, laying out the tomatoes here, tedious job. And we have to finish before noon so that we maximize our drying. Solar drying in a tunnel is low carbon, environmentally friendly. The raised trays allow for air circulation above and below the product. It's hygienic. The product is covered at all times, so there is very little chance of contamination or dust settling on the product. The temperature inside the tunnel does not exceed 72 C, which means that vitamin C, which is the first vitamin that breaks down, is conserved. And it is a significantly shorter drying time, yielding better color and taste qualities. Why did I choose to talk about tomatoes? Because for us in our company, tomatoes is one of the most important products that we dry. Tomatoes are essential in a lot of cuisines of the world. It is in very high demand globally. And in Egypt, tomatoes are available fresh year-round. So it is a product that you can continually dry. However, the prices of fresh tomatoes fluctuate enormously from season to season. So drying them keeps them safe longer at no cost except shelf space and environmentally friendly. We don't need a refrigerator. We don't need special a place to store it, just in the cupboard in the kitchen in a dark spot. When we dry tomatoes, what does the market look for? The market looks for the good taste, sweet and not too salty, good color, no blemishes, no dark parts, no white parts, acceptable moisture content, free from microbes, insects, and dirt, and of course, a competitive price. What are the best varieties for drying tomatoes? Well, you can dry any type of tomato, really. You can dry cherry tomatoes, you can dry the regular round tomatoes, but the best ones are the elongated ones like the Roma or the Marwa in Egypt, with a limited number of chambers and seeds inside. They're more fleshy. The yield of dried tomatoes depends on the variety, on the climate, on the season, and on average, it yields between 4 to 6%. How do we process our tomatoes at Minis? Well, we choose the best ripe tomatoes that we can find, especially the fleshy, elongated ones like Roma. We wash them thoroughly under running water, and then we soak them for about 15 minutes in a vinegar solution or salt solution. Then we drain. The tomatoes are sliced using either knives or V-slicers. We salt the tomatoes and place them in a colander, and we let them weep at least 30 minutes to get some of their water off of them. We arrange the sliced tomatoes on the dryer, we cover the tunnel, and we leave it to dry for about 24 to 36 hours, depending again on the season and the climate. And we monitor the process continually. This is what our tray looks like with the tomatoes set out on the dryer. The women who work with the tomatoes test for appropriate dryness. If they find them dry, they remove them from the dryer, allow them to cool off completely, and then store them in an airtight box for at least a week so that the humidity is even between all the pieces of tomatoes. And then we start the packaging process. This is a picture of the women after they've collected, on the right, the box of tomatoes, and on the left, their oranges. We cut the tomatoes in 4 different ways. We either slice them, and these sliced tomatoes can be used in snacks, sandwiches, and pasta sauce. We have them, and they're used as a condiment, and you place them in jars with olive oil, garlic, and whatever herbs you like. Is the continuation of the different cuts. On the left is tomato pieces. Tomato pieces are an excellent way to add flavor to your tomato sauce. You can bake bread with the pieces. You can add them to cheeses, to salads, just sprinkle them on the salad. And on the right is our pièce de résistance. It is a tomato powder, which you can use in everything, even in making your pizza sauce. We begin the packaging and the storing. We store them in hermetically closed boxes to ensure even dryness. And when we're ready to go to market, we pack them in either PET boxes, Ziploc bags, or vacuum bags. For us at Minis, we've gone through all the lists and we've decided to stick with Ziploc bags because they are biodegradable and they are reusable. Some products we have to use vacuum bags for. The tomatoes, we don't have to do that. Or you could also pack them in olive oil, garlic, and herbs of your choice. This is our packaging right now. As you can see, we have here several types of packages. The red band is for fruit, the green band is for vegetables, and the lower shelf down here is for snacks. So these are larger bags. These are smaller bags for on-the-go kind of. When we started the project, we wanted to have an influence in the area where we began our project. And our focus was to help the rural women that live there and work at our place. Working for Minis has given them financial independence, has taught them hygiene, how to handle things in a clean way, has taught them how to handle food in various stages, fresh, dry, on the dryer, and so on. We have taught them how to store the food properly, how to package the food properly, how to observe nature and monitor the weather, because sometimes we get sandstorms and we can't work. And since they start early, they have to know what the weather is going to be like. And these are things that women in the rural areas don't really follow or understand or even look at. And we've also taught them how to use the product waste, because a lot of waste comes out of the kitchen. So we've taught them to compost. We've also taught them how to make fruit leather with the soft parts of the products that we use, to make jam, to make chutneys. We're trying to always broaden their knowledge base. Slide 31 is the environmental impact. Working at Minis with the solar tunnel, we have raised awareness for the environment, for health issues, and for byproducts. We have taught them how to reduce spoilage of the fresh product by drying it quickly, how to manage the waste and the byproducts, and like I said before in the previous slide, how to do composting. We're giving you some numbers here. In 2011, we started with 2 women. Right now, we employ 16 full-time. And during the season of market and so on, we have a few more that come on board. In the beginning, our customers were family and friends. Right now, we have 800 plus repeat customers. In the beginning, we attended our first market in 2011, and that was the first farmers market, and it was once a month. Now we attend 3 farmers markets a week, and we also sell at eco shops or shops that are interested in healthy foods. In the beginning, we began drying just 3 fruits, which we're trying. Now we have 30 fruits and 35 vegetables and herbs. And now we have also started to supply hotels and restaurants, and we sell our products as ingredients to others. They go into breads and they go into cakes and things like that. Our favorite clients, the young people. They're the ones we want to enroll and enlist in eating healthy instead of eating unhealthy snacks. And of course, we depend on the parents to help us do that. And look at how happy they are buying their products here. What's for us in the future? We're looking at the future here. Since we began working, people have approached us for export, but because we're a very small company and our tunnel doesn't produce tons for export, we are now looking at exporting because Egypt ranks 5th in exporting fresh tomatoes, and Egypt ranks 2nd after Italy in exporting dried tomatoes. At Menar, we're looking at increasing our production to export our solar dried tomatoes. The other program that I'm very interested in is training program because we'd like to expand our teaching to other areas. We've done already several workshops for women to teach them how to dry their own food, especially when it's in season and not expensive. I've been to several countries to teach women and to several cities in Egypt as well. And I'd like to make that a formal part of Menar and have some of our women also come and teach with me. And what I'd really like to see is building solar communities, solar drying communities, so that we can increase the production and we can, as a community, export. This is what Menar is all about. Obrigado. Thank you. شكرا لحسن استماعكم. Merci. Gracias.